pertaining to race. So if it's your own race and you don't like your own race, it's also racism, and it's also racist. Now this is how to know you're racist, right? This is for this is for the people who are in denial, which are most people, because y'all know, as far as I'm concerned, all human beings are racist. So this is mostly for the people who are in denial, and people are in denial because for so long we have been denying and suppressing and glossing over our own racism. And we've done it for so long that it became normal to do so. And once something becomes normal, it starts to move into and seep into the conscious mind and becomes your identity and becomes the conscious part of who you are and what you identify with, and it becomes you. And so the truth of what you really are, the other part of you that you've been suppressed, in this case your racism, seems like it's not there. It seems hazy. It's a kind of a thing where it's there, it's vague, but because it's vague and it seems like it's not there, due to us denying it for so long, it's like it's there but it's not there. So it's something we're feeling still, but it's almost like we're not feeling it and we're not sensing it. It's a very strange thing. It's a very weird way how the mind works and how the emotional system works with the mind, because you are feeling something but it's like you're not feeling it. You're sensing something but it's like you're not sensing it. You're thinking something but it's not like you're not thinking it, because you spend so much time throughout your life denying it and lying to yourself and suppressing it, and that part of yourself becomes numb, because it's almost like this numbing veneer layers over it and covers it, and that's why it feels vague, so like vague, and it's so and numb. It's like when you're stepping on something, but that thing is not painful enough to stick you in the foot to let you know that you're stepping on it. So it's there, but it's not there because it's not bothering me so much. But I kind of know it's there, but I don't realize it's there after a while of standing on it. It's like it's not there anymore. Who cares if it's there? It doesn't bother me. So it's like we know it's there, but it's not there, and that's how the subconscious work with the conscious mind. Especially when we're talking about a, a topic like racism, where it's so taboo. It's so wrong to feel racist feelings, right? So most people are in denial about their racism for these reasons. And then it gotten worse over the years, because coming into this era, this is the era of super political correctness and super. I mean, cancel culture is just a heightened strategy of political correctness. It's political correctness gone too far, and it's political correctness taken to a height where it seems like it's not. Some seem like it's not fixable. It's like they're not stopping. And no matter how many people state how bad it is and how detrimental it is and how ineffective it is, and how maybe there's probably better measures that we could take that will be way more effective, nothing changes. You know, the cancel culture is still going. So, you know, it's the whole denial thing and the whole suppression thing and the subconscious part of you that is racist seems even more now like it's not there because of how much pressure is on the human being to suppress even more those things, because if you express anything racist, regardless of intention, it's seen as something you should not do. You're just an evil person if you express racist feelings. And so most people are in denial, and in denial even more now, because now you have this whole policing of, you know, people are policing each other into being good, because now you have this person over here don't want to be the bad person, and so they call out everybody else around them to prove to themselves and to the world that they are not the bad person, they're not the racist. Because if I'm calling out the racist, why would I be racist, right? But it's a kind of a I think it's a borderline sociopathic thing that most people are doing. I mean, we all have sociopathic and narcissistic traits, whether we want to admit to it or not. How to know that you are racist, right? Now, most people are in denial about it, like I said before. Most people don't know they're racist, which all people are racist. But how you know, how you would be able to confirm and to pretty much validate what I'm saying with yourself is by paying attention to your body, paying attention to your mind, to your body movements. Whenever you see somebody of another race or somebody of your own race, people inside of your own race that you don't like, because as far as I'm concerned, racism is defined from my perspective as pertaining to race, relating to race, the isms of race. So it's not just an extra racial thing, it's also an interracial thing. Not, yeah, intra-racial thing. I think that's the right term. That would make you racist. It's also pertaining to race. So if it's your own race and you don't like your own race, it's also racism, and it's also racist. So if you pay attention to the visceral reactions within your body and your mind and your reactions to whatever you're observing, especially the people that trigger you the most. So if you are a white person who's triggered the most by black people, if you put yourself, especially around not just one black person, especially around a group of black people, um, right? This is a good time for you to observe your body, and your body, if any reaction you have related to that person is going to be a racist reaction. It's going to be a racist reaction based on your observations, based on what you're seeing. This is not does not make you evil. It does not make you a bad person. It just makes you what you are. It makes you a human being who is living in this society, and you have um, racist feelings. Anything you're feeling, you have a shift or a change in your emotional system, right? Regarding seeing this person of a different race, those are your racist emotional triggering feelings coming up. Okay, so if you are if you're at a park and you see, especially a group, because when people have, because people are racist, the people that they're most racist towards, they're gonna feel a stronger response in their emotional system when it's more than one of those people. And that's why, you know, you have people who say, "Oh, they're not racist. I'm not racist because I might have have a black friend or I have a couple black friends or whatever. But you see, people get to know people, and because they know people of a certain race, they just because those people just become the people they know, and they get to know them, and then they get relaxed around them, and then the racist feelings is not so strong because this is a person you're getting to know. You still see their race, but you don't feel as anxious around them as you would feel around racist people who you don't know, especially a group of these people. Did I say racist people you don't know? Um, you don't feel as anxious as if you would see um, people of a certain race. That's usually triggers you in groups rather than in as individuals, because more is more, right? So if you're at the Spark sitting down and you see a group of people or one person, um, and you feel this heightened feeling in your chest or in your stomach, you know, um, you feel antsy, you feel anxious, you feel shaky, and you will have these feelings depending on just how racist you are and how nervous and racist you are, you know, and how much anxiety you usually have around race. You will have these feelings because I believe that every time you see and every time you see a person, you have a racist moment, whether it's for somebody in your own race or somebody in, especially people of other races, depending on who you are. Because some people are more triggered by their own race, especially black people, right? So if you see, when you see these people, you get antsy and, you get this anxiety feeling. Those are your racist feelings. And those racist feelings you will be in denial about too, because you will tell yourself that it's something else. The next one is if you are with a certain people, especially your own people, and then this other race of people or person come in your presence, come in your vicinity, and all of a sudden you're talking about race. Or all of a sudden you're talking about how not racist you are because you see this person coming. This is just a racist response, turned backwards. It's a kind of a deflection from one's own racist feelings. Okay, and you're talking about how not racist you are, or if somebody in your group says something regarding the people or regarding race, and all of a sudden you get defensive or you want to defend race or whatever. That they are expressing their racist feelings, and that deflection you have and or projection is a symptom of you um, expressing racist feelings in denial, and also using projection to somehow deflect, and deflection, projection, or projection to deflect from the fact that you yourself is racist, because it's a way for you to compensate or to overcompensate for your goodness and for your non-racistness. So that's another way to know that you're racist. And another thing I observe that people do is they if they're in a group of people with their own race or people that they're comfortable with, and say you have a group of black people passing by, um, sometimes they start looking at each other without saying anything. It's like a little this eye contact thing, like um, you know, people have this reaction, this nonverbal reaction sometimes to things, and sometimes it's very conscious. Sometimes they're deliberately doing it to each other. Like if you have a triangulated situation where two people or two or more people is in a situation, in a conflict or in a disagreement or in a room, and that one person that they both have a problem with comes around, and they start looking at each other deliberately, but they're not acknowledging that they are thinking thoughts of whatever, you know, they both agree on about this person that is negative or whatever. And there's another way that this kind of stuff happen where it's subconscious. It's like they're not deliberately doing it, but they're doing it. It's not super subconscious, but it's subconscious. Because remember, I told you about the different layers of the subconscious mind. So it's like they're looking at each other, but they're not acknowledging that they're doing it. In the first scenario, they're kind of acknowledge. They're not kind of. They're acknowledging that here comes this person. Oh boy. And so, in this situation, they're looking at each other, but they're not even acknowledging that they're looking at each other. Maybe they don't even know they're looking at each other, but it's a subconscious thing. The same thing happens with race and racism. It's like a group of non-white people are sitting over here, and they're triggered. They're all kind of triggered by black people, but they're in denial about it, like most people are. And then a group of black people came passing by, or a group of black people start sitting in the table and chairs across, if it's a restaurant, and then they start looking at each other without saying anything. I observe this all the time. I observe it with myself, and I observe it with watching scenarios where people there's groups of people, and how other people come in the room and how other people react. So this is another thing that people do, and I can't even say to them that this is how they know they're racist, because they're not even acknowledging it to each other. They don't even know they're doing these things, and it's a very passive kind of a racism, like most racism are in, that's yeah, like how racism is for the most part in this society. It's passive, and at some another level it gets passive aggressive, but it's not super aggressive. It's not super conscious. It's mostly passive and then passive aggressive. And most people and all people fall under one of these categories. Sometimes it gets super duper duper passive, because as far as I'm concerned, there's only two type of people in this world. It's a overt racist or a covert racist. But we all fall in the category of racist. Okay, whether it's racist in your own race or outside of your race, it's racist. So these these points that I'm about to list are the more ridiculous ones, right? To how to know you're not racist. How to know you're not racist? Excuse me, I gotta edit this. How to know you're racist? These are the more ridiculous points. How to know you're racist? If you see race, because it's not possible to not see race. Some people like to jump and talk about, oh, I don't see race. I don't have one racist bone in my body. They don't have one racist bone in their body. Um, I don't see color. That's not even possible. That's a lie. Please stop it. Because the mere fact that you're using the word race in the sentence is saying that you see race. It's not possible to not see race unless you're blind or something. And this is what I believe, that even blind people, because they grew up in a society and in homes that are inherently racist, even blind people um, know how to sense race. So they don't see race, but they will sense it in your voice. They will sense it in your accent, and maybe the things you have to talk about. And even though they don't see it, because they've been socialized by their parents and by society at large to to recognize race, and because they too identify with race, and because they too have all the different traits that makes every other person racist except for sight, they too would fall in the category of being racist too. And a lot of people gonna have a problem with that, but I really don't give a damn. And along with the fact that a blind person um, is going to be a little more intuitive. So maybe they could sense it in other ways than voice and accent. A blind person and anybody who have any kind of impairment, is that a word? Anyway, with any sense, right? They tend to compensate in other ways. So blind people, they tend to be more, um, they feel more, and or they hear more, they listen more. You know, they use their other senses in a more heightened state because it's a way to compensate for not being able to see. So I mean, they're going to be more intuitive in general anyway. So you might think a blind person is not sensing certain things, or because they can't see, but really, sometimes more of the time, they're more intuitive than you are. So if you see race, for was once you see race, which we all see race, it's not possible to not see race, along with the fact that you identify with your own race. Plus, you have an ego and you have a dark side. Like I said in multiple of my other videos about racism and why people are racist and what makes people racist and why everybody is racist, that if you identify with a race and you see race, you separate from the other races, your dark side comes into play, your ego comes into play, where whatever you identify with, because you identify with it, you want it to be the best, just like you want you to be the best. So if you identify as an American, you want America and Americans to be the best. If you identify as a woman, you want women and women to be the best. And it goes on and on just like that. Everything you identify with, you're going to want it to be the best. So whatever race you identify with, you're going to want that race to be on top. You're going to want that race to be doing better than everybody else. White people don't acknowledge this about themselves because they suppress it so far, they don't recognize it in themselves, but it's there, okay? And so because of that, you're going to constantly be comparing yourself to these other races. And if you're comparing yourself to other races and you have a dark side, okay, and you have a need to be the best, you're gonna be seeing the things about them, whether they're stereotypes or they're known stereotypes or they're not known stereotypes. But you're going to be seeing negative things about these people that makes them negative, make them bad, make them whatever. And you'll see the positive things too. But either way, you're going to be comparing yourself to them, and you're going to want to be yours to be the best. So every race of person, every race of people still have this need for their race to be superior. But people deny this, and people say, because of this, they're not racist because I don't want my race to be superior to other people. I don't believe that race is superior to other race because they they believe it's bad and negative and evil to have this kind of thought process. But it's not bad or evil. It's negative because it's coming from a negative place, but you can't avoid it. Everybody have a light side and have a dark side. You can't avoid that. You can't just decide to not have those things about you. So if we're going to define racism as being racist, rather, as seeing one's race above other races, seeing one's race more superior to other race, then yes, is still racist because we all want whatever we identify with to be the best. Look at these people out here with the American flag and whatever flag country you're from, you're celebrating that because you want it to be the best, and or you want it to be above other people to show yourself off. It makes you great. So that stuff is going to extend to other parts of who you are, because that need to be the best is not localized and fixed to just nationality, or fixed related to just your gender or your sex or um, your sexuality or any other thing you identify with. For some reason, when it comes to race, we pull that apart. We say that, oh, that way of being does not relate it to my race. Even though I'm this Republican white guy and I want um, Republicans to win and I want America to be America first and America um, this and let's make America great again. And it's like Trump, you know, America this and America's the greatest country in the world. But somehow that is only related to the way I identify with my nationality and I identify with my Americanness. But that the root of that and where that is coming from is a part of yourself that is going to be related to and is going to extend to every part of your every part of you that you identify with. So it's not just about your nationality and being American. It's about your your gender, your sexuality, being straight is right or being gay is better, whatever. It's going to extend to your race too. So it's not just I want to be best American. I want Americans to be the best. It's also going to be I want white to be the best. I want black to be the best. I want Asian or whatever to be the best. Because it's not just about that thing, that being the bestness related to one thing. Is the fact that you as a human being have to be the best because of you identify with yourself and whatever you other things you identify with, you want to be the best. So if you pull apart, if you take away race from that whole idea and say, oh, when it comes to race, I don't want my race to be the best. Oh, when it comes to race, I don't think my race is superior. That would not be true because this is not just related to one part of your identity, one part of yourself, and just your nationality and your country of birth or your political party. It's also, or you as an individual, it's also about race. It extends to race too. So this video was about how to know you're racist, and I hope you guys this resonates with you guys. I believe it does.